You've been here before. This exact moment. This exact feeling. The words you are about to hear, you have heard them before. You know this, and you cannot explain why. What if the explanation is worse than the feeling? Deja vu happens to almost every human being alive. 2/3 of the population experience it regularly. It lasts between 10 and 30 seconds. And in that window, something extraordinary happens to your brain. It simultaneously experiences the present moment and the memory of that moment at the exact same time, as if two timelines are briefly occupying the same space. Scientists have studied it for over a century. They have theories. None of them fully explain it, and the one explanation that fits the data best is the one nobody wants to talk about. The questions your brain cannot stop asking are the only questions worth exploring. This channel exists for those questions. Every Friday, one idea that should not be possible, followed through until something breaks. Stay, because what comes next will make the next deja vu you experience feel completely different. The official explanation is a memory error. Your brain processes new experiences in two stages: short-term and long-term memory. Deja vu happens when these two processes briefly fall out of sync. Your brain files the experience as memory before it is finished experiencing it, which means, for a fraction of a second, you are living in your own past. This explanation is logical. It is also incomplete, because it does not explain why deja vu feels like recognition, not confusion. When you misremember something, you feel uncertain. When you experience deja vu, you feel certain. Absolutely certain that this has happened before. Not similar. Identical. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is remembering something that has not happened yet, or something that already did. Stop for a moment. Everything you just heard assumes deja vu is happening inside your brain. What if it is not? In 1957, physicist Hugh Everett proposed something that the scientific community spent decades dismissing, and spent the last 30 years quietly accepting. Every decision you make, every quantum event that occurs, splits reality into two separate branches. In one branch, you turn left. In another, you turned right. Both branches exist simultaneously. Both are equally real. In most interpretations of this theory, the branches never touch. They run parallel forever, completely inaccessible to each other. But some physicists have proposed that under certain conditions, the branches briefly overlap. For a fraction of a second, your consciousness receives information from a version of reality running alongside this one. You feel it as recognition, as certainty, as the overwhelming sense that you have been here before. Because in that other branch, you have, this is not philosophy, there is evidence. Patients with temporal lobe epilepsy experience deja vu immediately before a seizure, not occasionally, consistently, every time. When neuroscientists stimulate the hippocampus, the region of the brain associated with memory, using electrical probes, patients report intense deja vu, immediate, overwhelming, as if an entire life experience is being accessed at once. One patient described it this way: "It felt like I had already lived through everything and was watching it happen again from a slight distance. Not from inside my body, from just outside it." That description matches what quantum physicists call the observer effect, the phenomenon where consciousness, watching an event, changes the nature of that event. You are not just experiencing this moment. You are observing it. And in observing it, you are collapsing all the possible versions into this one, which means somewhere in the branches that did not collapse, a version of you did not survive to watch this. The next time you feel deja vu, here is what I want you to consider. Your brain is not glitching. It is receiving something from a version of this moment that ran differently. In that version, the outcome may have been different. You may have made a different choice. You may have gone a different way. You may not have survived to feel the recognition. And in the fraction of a second that the branches overlap, you feel the ghost of that moment pressing against this one. The certainty you feel is not a memory error. It is a signal from the version of you that did not make it here. Science cannot prove this. It cannot disprove it either. What it can tell you is that the moment of deja vu is the moment your brain receives more information than the present moment contains. Where that information comes from remains one of the most studied and least understood phenomena in the history of neuroscience. You have experienced it. You know the feeling. That absolute certainty that you have been exactly here, heard exactly these words, felt exactly this feeling before. The question is not whether it happened. The question is, which version of you is remembering it? The questions your brain cannot stop asking are the only questions worth exploring. This channel exists for those questions. Every Friday, one idea that should not be possible, followed through until something breaks. Subscribe. You were not supposed to know any of this.